Morning, gentlemen and gentlewomen. Today is a rather lovely day in Blighty, a little bit breezy, but I thought, you know what, let's get outside and do some stuff on Cato, seeing as these things do not do themselves, you've got to do it. So I decided to today grab the bull by the horns, no, sorry, wrong terminology, grab the horse by the tail, and someone posted about measuring your valve clearances. So today we are going to hopefully get these cam covers off and do valve clearances. I thought, you know what, I might as well do a video on it, and yeah, why not? So let's start clearing some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to carry on with what I was doing, just clear out the centre, get that pipe out, etc. And then once I've done that, move on to the getting the cam covers off and possibly getting the clearances measured today, I hope. I would have thought so, unless it rains. So off we go. The first thing to do then is remove the breather pipe. Now obviously if you're doing this job, you don't need to take the plenum chamber off. Probably the best thing to do would be to remove this cover, the engine cover, so you can get to the other bank, which would probably save a lot of grief. I'm not doing that because I'm outside, so I'm just going to do the best I can with a mirror. I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. Anyway, so remove the breather pipe between the two banks, and because that has to come off anyway. And then to make sure nothing goes in them, plug them up. Also it draws attention to them. There's a crack in this pipe, not that that matters, but I'm going to replace it. It's only a breather. And then that one there. So those are the three that go onto that rail basically. Right, the next thing is I've got a little oil leak under this filter somewhere. It's not the filter because I do them up pretty tight. So I've got to take it off, and these are always a swine to get off. So rubber gloves gives you lots of grip. I don't have a filter wrench because it's just another piece of equipment I will probably lose somewhere, or not lose it, but never use it. Oh God. Obviously if the engine was warm it might be easier. That's not coming off, is it? Right folks, here is a belt from my trousers which have fallen down, but this can be quite good for undoing things. It's leather, so it's quite grippy. He said, no, that isn't moving either. Okay folks, here is a belt from my trousers and gloves from my pocket to provide some grip. Let's try again. I've got a feeling the belt is going to break. God, blimey. Yeah, there's no way I was going to do that. Okay, hang on a second, I'll be back in a minute. You are coming off, my friend, whether you like it or not. There you go, it's off. I told you you're coming off. Right, what I didn't want to do is I don't want to spill oil down on there because I do want to try and see where my leak is coming from. So I'm going to pack it with tissue and hope that none of it comes out. Ah, the belt. Happy memories from school. Come on, don't spill. Those of you who've taken these off before go probably saying, it doesn't do it. Yeah, okay, that's fine then. Okay. Oh, God, wind's picking up, storm coming in, great. There you go, rubber gloves, they do have their uses, don't they? That stops any debris going in there and getting in your oil system. What did I say about it being a nice day? Look at that, bloody hail. Can you believe it? Well guys, the sun may be shining. I'm trying to do all weather endeavour here. Can you see the hailstones coming down? It's ridiculous. Yeah, hail and sunshine. I've pulled the plugs out, obviously, of the things. I'm going to take the distributor caps off and just get this wiring out the way, clear a bit of space. It's safe to say that when you take plug leads out, if they're old, they can fracture inside, so that when you put the thing back, you find you've got a misfire. So, because, you know, these things get old and they get, you know, they get damaged. See what I have to put up with, folks? This is ridiculous. Don't ever move to England. It's a horrible, nasty place. Yeah. You can look at the weather and say the sun is shining, let's go and have a picnic. Let's have a bloody picnic in the hail.
No more boat.
Look at it. Right, the hail has cleared, so we're back again. Take the distributor caps off. Some things, I'm just state the obvious here, some things can really frustrate. There's a little, obviously there's 3 screws, there's 2 here and there's 1 behind there. Quickest way to get to it is pull the rubber casing off, go in through the back, put your finger on the actual screw, and then just line it up with a screwdriver and undo it from there, and that makes life, there you go, that makes life a lot easier. You can't get a spanner on it. So the whole object is these do have to come off, because to get the cam covers off we have to get to the bolts that are behind. So obviously don't forget to mark these up, which way they go. You can give them a good old clean up as well while you're at it. I did actually do the oil seals on there, but even though I've done the oil seals, it looks like I've got one leaking still for some reason, so that's interesting. I don't know why that is. Obviously don't drop the distributor cap. But yes, I've got an oil leak in there and I don't know why that is, because I put new seals in, so I'm going to have a look at that. Very annoying. Let's see if this one's okay. That was one of the first things I did on the car, because obviously if there's oil going in there you can get a misfire. Just overexpose it a bit, it makes it a lot easier to see. I've undone the back one here anyway. Let's see if this one's leaking as well. Damn well shouldn't be. Obviously, look at that, there's oil in that one too. Why is that? Brand new seals. Look at that. See, I don't know if you can see that. But there's oil there. Look, lots of it as well. It's not the seal that's leaking, it's actually coming in between the seal and the housing. So what you can do is you use a seal fit. It's like a sealant that goes between the seal and the thing. I expect some of you are on your forum nodding your head saying, yeah, you should have put it in with that stuff. I didn't, so that's why it's leaking a bit, not a lot, but a bit. So I'm going to have to take those seals out and put them in and seal them, and then they should be okay. There you go, lesson learned on some of these things. Anyway, I've found that it must be such a small leak that I haven't even noticed just the odd drop, you know. And it certainly hasn't gone on the rotor arm, as you can see, so it won't have affected it too badly. So the procedure now is to get the cam covers off this side and the other side. You need to take out that one bolt there that bolts into the casting, as you can see, and these 2 down here which also bolt into the casting, and then all of those around there, and then obviously remove the tie bar. So when you're just doing the cam covers on their own, you obviously don't need to take all of this off, you don't need to take the oil filter off or anything like that. As you know, I'm doing another job as well. Basically it's distributor off on the other side, and then undo that bolt, undo those 2, and then all those round there, and then undo that, and then hopefully it may or may not pull free, or we may have to move the injection unit. I don't know, I've not done one of these before, so let's see what happens. So undoing the brace one, I would say there's probably about 50 foot-pounds of torque in there. It's not critical as long as it's done up. Yeah, don't quote me on that. I'm thinking about doing these cam covers red. There's a little reward to myself for getting on and doing this job, and I'm really doing it for you guys on the forum because you said you wanted a video, and I was originally going to do the centre of the engine first, but I think one of the chaps on there, I can't remember his name, was pretty desperate to do his. It's also interesting to note that the rubber bushes, of course, are tightened up while they're in place. So don't tighten the one up the top here. I don't know if it's in frame, but don't tighten the one up the top here, there, and then push it down. Obviously, put it into place and then torque it up. Yes, and if you can, try and put stuff back on because and also in the order that it went, because that washer went on that side, and then that way you know where you are. Now I'm not worried about scratching the top of my cam cover because I'm going to have them done red, so I'm not too worried about it, but normally, yeah, put something there. The other thing to bear in mind is these, do not crank them up really tight, because they only take about 5 foot-pounds of torque, and you definitely don't want to do it on a torque meter, because you won't find one that accurate at that. Well, you may do, but I haven't got one that accurate. So you just do it by feel. You just nip them up, and that should be enough. If you torque them up, again, if you undo them too much, if you torque them up too much, you can strip them, and again create a lot of problem for yourself. So and these ones I'm going to see again if I can get these things in stainless steel, because then they won't get that horrible corrosion on them. I can't stand it, it looks horrible. And since I've got my flat floor pan in now, I shall make a real effort to smarten up my engine. Right guys, we've got one that's doing that thing, you know, where you start to undo it and then it doesn't want to go, you know, it tightens up. So you do it up again and then undo it again, and just keep going backwards and forwards until you clear that thread, because if you keep going for it, you will strip the thread, and it may be trying to wind the stud out. It feels like it's, yeah, it feels like it's trying to wind the stud. It's now stiffened up really quite a lot. If I keep going with it, I will strip the thread. So I'm going back again. I might even tighten it down a bit. I'm going back quite a long way, so you can see it's really hung up at that last moment. Okay, so I'm just going to go back there, and then I'll reverse it again. Talking to my friend Alex was saying that it's actually really rather nice. Sometimes it's, you know, it's fun to sort of work on it a bit and then drive it, work on it a bit and drive it. And he's got his Lotus V8 engine in my garage at the moment, which unfortunately expired due to a cam belt. So, but bent every single valve. See, it's tightened up again a bit. Okay, so yeah, he bent every single valve on one of his banks of cylinders, all the exhaust, all the inlet, but fortunately didn't damage the liners, but it did leave an imprint on the pistons, so he's had to get a new set of pistons. To be honest, the pistons were probably salvageable, so it's tightening up again. Pistons would probably be salvageable, but he's decided to do it properly. I'm trying to do this with one hand so you can see, but anyway, it's going to come out. Now it feels like it's coming out now. I bet it's going to take the stud out with it. Obviously don't forget to take your little washers off here, or count them all out, count them all in, make sure you've got them all. Right, they're all undone. So next thing is just a quick tip. When you're putting them back, when you put the cam covers back on, start from the centre and work out like you do a cylinder head, go in an X pattern. Yeah, so bang, 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 bang. Yeah, and just keep working in an X pattern, up, bang, 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 bang. You know, work your way out and gradually torque them down. But as I say, torque is not the word you use with these things, because it's just a nip. It's going to rain again. Oh, the other thing is keep all your bits in a little pot, and if you know they're all together, so I know that in there is all of those and the distributor ones. So the wind's picking up and it's going berserk. Right then folks, the next thing we do, having got all the nuts off, is we jam a screwdriver in between the head and the cam cover, get the biggest possible hammer we can find and bash the crap out of it. No, I'm only joking. No, we do not do that. This is how you do it. If you remember our distributor, what we do is go into here and take the arm off, and then we undo these here. Okay, so just gently lift that off of there like that, and let's just see what has been leaking. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm in frame there I am. It actually looks like it's come from around the seal, doesn't it? I don't know why that would be. That's a brand new seal. It's a bit annoying, that. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a bit in the groove there, but the seal is absolutely brand new. So I don't know what's happened there, and obviously it's not damaged when I put it on. Just a quick tip, seeing as I've taken them both off, I've written rear on there, so I know that that's the rear one. Just a little note for you there. Try and put all your bits and pieces from where you've taken them, and then it's an easy thing. You don't have a box full of bits. You can quickly find, you know, where things were. So now what we're going to do is get a piece of wood and just tap it lightly from inside there to push it up off the studs. Don't bash it that way, because you're not trying to knock the studs sideways. You want to push it away from the studs, so that's the trick. So I'm going to try and find a little piece of wood. I found a little piece of Delrin, which is just a piece of plastic. I found it's the right size just to go in there. This is the camshaft. It's very, very strong. I'm just going to lever against it very lightly, hardly anything. In fact, I'll probably do it. I don't know if I can see my finger. I'm going to do it with one finger, and I'm just going to lever it to break that seal. There it goes, see? So it's just getting in there just to break that seal, like that. There it goes. You can hear it cracking away. There it comes. There you go, and off it comes. And it's, no, that's it. So now I just grab hold of the cap here, grab hold of the end here, and I'm going to wiggle it like that, and hopefully work it loose until it comes off. At this stage I think I may well take that out of the way because it's proving to be a little bit of a pain. The other thing I did was I blew the all the grime out. Oh no, it's okay. Right, now can we get it clear of the fuel injection? Like I say, I'm not worried about my cam covers because I'm painting them. I'm just going to take these little clips off and everything and have another look at it, and I may well just loosen that and get it out of the way because it's being a bit of a pain. Right, so I've removed two little clips which just go down there on the cam covers just to give us a little bit more room. So hopefully now we can jiggle it out of the way and it's not striking the oh, there you go. Yeah, look at that. It's so much easier just taking those two things off and it comes straight off. Look at that, perfect. Right, here's a little thing. Obviously I've got to rotate the engine to do all the valve clearances, but a nice little quick look is, look, these lobes are off the valves. Can I turn them? Yes, I can. Look, I can rotate them around. That's a good sign. It means they're not touching, they're not binding. It's by no means conclusive, but it's certainly, look, you can turn that, because the lobe is not on them. Sorry, I'll do the ones next door. You can see the lobe is not on them, so I can turn them. And these ones, I can turn the ones at the top. The ones that normally tighten up at the exhaust side, because they're the ones that get hot and they hammer themselves into their seats. So that's a good sign. Yeah, I can turn that. I can turn that. That's good. The lobes are off of there. So it's certainly not a, it's not conclusive, of course, but it's certainly a good sign. If I couldn't turn it and the lobes were off of them like that, I'd think, oh my God, right, I'm in a little bit of a trouble here. But that's a very good, quick rule of looking at something. But obviously, I've got the other bank to look at next. So to keep all of the rubbish out of there, I'm going to put the cover back on and we'll get to work on the other side. So guys, I'm just going to do the other bank. Am I going to make you sit through and watch this? No, of course I'm not, because it's just going to be exactly the same as I did on this side. You've just got to reach across. Now I'm not taking my engine cover off. I'm going to leave it in place because I'm outside in the elements, so I really don't want my engine exposed. Okay guys, if you can see, that one's come out with the stud, so it's a good job that you don't just go for it when you undo them. You just do them backwards and forwards so that it clears the thread if they're frozen in. Otherwise I would have had to drill that and tap a new thread in, you know, helicoil it. So it's just come out with the stud. That's fine, no thread damage at all. So everything is off that side, ready for me just to lever it off. Little quick note, diagnostic cable goes there on that last little stub there, and that's your throttle cable is just on that one there. The washers on the other side are extremely hard to get to, so I'm going to let them fall off. When I lever it, they're just going to fall away from the engine because I just can't get to them. The ones this side, I've got all of the ones off of this side. I've also unplugged the dipstick from the other end there, and I've got a feeling that it may well strike, so I'm actually going to undo the dipstick down that end. Right, so we're off on that side. I'm just going to try and wiggle it the other side and get a little bit of purchase. Okay guys, so never normally wedge anything between the two surfaces, but this is such a long flat blade that you cannot damage the faces
because, you know, if you stuck a screwdriver in there you will, but with this you can't, so you can put a bit of, so Alex, if you just wiggle it one end, that's it, and then press it down again. So Alex has prized it up one end, and just keep doing that and it will come, lift it up again, Alex. Okay.
Yeah, it's popped.
Is it? It has, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then press it down again, Alex. Oh, that's it. Go on.
That's the one at the back.
Here we go.
There you go.
Okay, Alex, thank you very much.
Nice.
That's great, thank you. Right, I've got this clear. Now, because I left washers on the other side, remember I couldn't get them off, I have pushed it away from the engine, shaken it so that the washers fall onto my flat floor pan, funny enough. With you, it'll fall onto the floor. And then I can pull it clear, knowing that nothing is going to drop into my engine. Right, guys, so you don't have to undo your throttle cable or any of that stuff. Just twist, you lift it clear, twist it away and pull it out like that. There you go. Right then, guys, let's start with a nice easy one. These lobes happen to be in this position. It's the exhaust valves and it's on number 4. 0.10 goes in easy, so it's a 0.11 maybe. Let's see if it's 0.11. It's certainly not tight, which is good. That's good. Better loose than tight. Yep. Shut up, Alex. Okay, so it's that one is 0. It's 0.011 is this one, and the other one feels like it's a little bit more. Okay, 0.13. There you go. So that's a 13. 0.013. I don't think we're going to get a 1.4 in there.
Comes the rain again.
Oh, you're joking, really? So we've got a, yeah, there you go. So we've got those two, which is 0.013, 0.011. Now, if we pan across up to the top here, you see there's 2 lobes off on the inlet valve on number 3 cylinder. So let's measure those and see what they are. Let's try 0.009. Right, 0.009 goes through on both. Yeah, yeah, and that feels pretty tight. That one feels tighter, so I'd say that that's 0.009. We're not going to get anything more through there. And the other one, I would guess, we'll probably get a little bit more through. If I can just find it. There it is. So, yeah, that's pretty tight though. That's just nice. So we're looking at on those two. We're looking at 0.010 on that one and 0.009 on that one. Okay, so panning across now up to that lobe. Okay, that's on number 1 cylinder. As you can see, the lobes are turned slightly towards the cams. Little trick here, look. I could jack the car up and turn the engine by hand, turn the crank by hand, but instead what I've done is I've left it in gear, and I'm just going to pull the car back to turn the engine on the gearbox, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give a little nudge, and it will turn. If I can just hold the car somewhere. Okay guys, on number 1 inlet we've got 0.010 and 0.011. So the next lobes I'm going to go for those ones there, so just push the car forward and just, it's like I said, it's in 4th gear, so it moves around quite easily. There we go. And they're in position now. Okay, here we go. 0.012 on that one and 0.012 on that one. That's nice and easy, isn't it? Next up, these lobes, they're coming around nicely, so I'll just push the car forward again, bring those into play. There we go. And this is the last one on this side. This is number 3 exhaust. Yeah, there's a gent on the forum that was asking should he check his valve guides and valve clearances, and they've never been done in 40,000 miles. They're supposed to be done, I think, every 25. And of course the consequences of not doing it means you burn a valve out. So, and then you've got to rebuild the engine, you know, take the heads off the engine, which basically means engine out. So it's not what you want, really, is it? And it suddenly occurred to me that although it's in my book as having been done, it's on the stamp. I didn't want to take the chance because.
So the other head's going to be a lot more fun than this, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, but he'll be okay. I've got a mirror. It's okay. So that's 1, 2, 0. That's 0.012. I'm having real problems with this, aren't I? 0.012 is clear easily. So I reckon it's a 0.013 there, because 0.012 goes in nice. Yeah, so it's 0.013 on that one. So that is all of the rear bank done. They all look pretty consistent, nothing wildly out, which is very encouraging. But as we all know, the one that nobody wants to do is that one over there, because it's a bit more difficult to get to. I'm keeping my engine cover on, and
Here comes the rain.
the rain is coming. Okay. Right then, folks, I'm just going to do the rear bank now, as you can see. Oh, sorry, not the rear bank, the front bank. So I've got my feeler gauge and I've got my mirror, plastic mirror, which is quite good. I don't know where I got it from, but anyway, there it is. And I've already measured this one. They're both coming out at 0.013. So that one was 0.011, 0.012. And if you leave the feeler gauges in, obviously not when you're moving the car, we're in gear, but obviously if you leave the feeler gauges in, it helps you, not lose track of where you are, because you can actually lose track sometimes. Here's my final diagram. As you saw, I was working in imperial because I didn't have metric feeler gauges, so sorry if some of those numbers confused you as I was reading them out. I've done the conversion here for you so you can see the target of what the inlet should be set at and what they actually came out at. And as you can see, the inlet they're all within tolerance. They're all pretty much smack on. The exhaust, however, has rather strangely come out very consistent, but consistently completely wrong, as in they are slightly too tight. And the paperwork suggests that this wasn't done very long ago, but I think the mechanic who did it accidentally misread the measurements and set it up for Mondial 8 and not the QV, because these are too consistent for a Mondial 8 to be done by mistake. Someone was definitely aiming at the Mondial 8 setup and not the QV. So it's a good job that I actually checked myself. I always sort of say pack your own parachute, because in theory, well, these are out of whack, aren't they? It's been set up for the wrong engine, but the paperwork doesn't reflect that. So it's not a bad insurance policy to check them. Anyway, hope this has been of use to you, and thanks for watching again. All the best.